I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. I've made tons of money mistakes in my 20s. And now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. All right, man, let us get real for a second. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like, have you ever stopped and asked yourself why you think about money the way you do? Why you feel guilty for wanting more, why you spend money you don't have on things you don't need to impress people you don't even like? I've done all of that. I've done there. And I am telling you right now, it is not your fault. You were literally programmed to be broke. I know that sounds harsh, but stick with me because I promise there is a way out and I want to walk you through it. Let me start with my own story. I grew up in a normal middle-class home, like nothing fancy. My dad worked hard, my mom worked hard, we had food on the table, we had a roof over our heads, but money was always this weird, stressful thing in our house. I remember every single time I asked for something, the answer was always the same. Money doesn't grow on trees, we can afford that you think I am made of money, and I just accepted it. I thought that is just how life is. Money is hard to get, and once you get it, you better hold on to it tight, because there is never enough. That was my first lesson about money, and it was a terrible one. Honestly, it set me up for years of struggle without me even knowing it. And then there was the other side of the coin too, when I saw people who had money, my family would talk about them like they were corrupt or selfish or they must have inherited it or gotten lucky. Rich people are greedy, they probably cheated someone to get there, and I bought into that too. I thought if I ever wanted to be wealthy, I would somehow become a bad person, so I just kept myself small. I kept my dreams small. I never allowed myself to even want more because wanting more felt wrong. That is programming, man. That is straight up conditioning, and it works. It keeps you exactly where they want you. Now, I want to talk about something that might ruffle some feathers, but I don't really care. The school system, look, I am not saying school is completely useless. Learning to read and write and do basic math is important, obviously. But the modern education system, the way it is set up right now, it is a joke when it comes to preparing you for real life. Think about it. School was literally designed during the Industrial Revolution to train factory workers. You sit in rows, you follow bells, you raise your hand to ask permission to go to the bathroom, you memorize useless facts you are never going to use again, and you do what you are told without question. That sounds familiar, right? That is employee training. That is not education, that is obedience training. And what do they actually teach you? How to write a proper essay, how to solve for X in some equation I'll forget the second you walk out of the classroom? Cool, but when was the last time your high school taught you how to do your taxes? When did they ever sit you down and explain compound interest in a way that actually made you excited to save? When did a teacher ever show you how to start a business or negotiate a salary or understand how credit cards actually work? Never, man. Never. They teach you nothing about money, nothing about investing, nothing about how the real world operates. And then they tell you to go take out $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in student loans to learn even more stuff that won't help you build wealth. It is insane when you think about it. I remember graduating and realizing I knew absolutely nothing about personal finance. I didn't know what a 401k was. I didn't know the difference between stocks and bonds. I had no idea how credit card interest worked. And guess what happened? I got my first credit card, and within a year I was carrying a balance. I was paying 22% interest on things I bought months ago. I was digging myself into a hole, and I didn't even understand what I was doing. The system trained me to be financially illiterate and then profited from my ignorance. That is not an accident, man. That is by design. So then I started working. I got a normal job like everyone else. And I thought, okay, cool, I am making money now, I am good. But the trap didn't stop there. Now the consumer culture kicks in, and man, this is where it gets really sneaky. Every single day you are bombarded with messages telling you that happiness comes from buying things. The new iPhone comes out and suddenly your current one is trashed. Your friend buys a new car and now your car feels old and embarrassing. You see an ad for the latest sneakers and you start feeling like you absolutely need them. And the message is always the same. You deserve it. Treat yourself. Live a little YOLO, right? Come on. I fell for this so hard in my early 20s. I was making decent money, but I was spending every single cent of it. I had to have the newest stuff. I had to look like I was doing well because I was insecure about where I actually was financially. I was flexing on Instagram while my bank account was basically empty. I was driving a car I couldn't really afford just because I thought it made me look successful. I was trapped in the stupid status game trying to impress people who didn't care about me with money I didn't have. And the worst part, I thought that is just what being an adult is. Everyone has car payments, right? Everyone has credit card debt. It is normal, but it is not normal. Man, it is just common. There is a huge difference. And the credit card companies make it so easy to fall deeper. They give you a higher limit when you least need it. They send you offers in the mail with 0% interest for 12 months, and you think, oh sweet, I can buy this now and pay it off later. Then 12 months comes and goes and you haven't paid it off, and now you are paying interest again. They offer buy now, pay later options on every website you visit. They make it so easy to spend money you don't have on things you don't need. It is designed to keep you in a cycle of consumption and debt, and the more you consume, the more they profit. The more you stay in debt, the more interest they collect. Your financial struggle is literally someone else's business model. Then there is lifestyle inflation. Oh man, this one got me too. I got a raise at work, and what did I do? I didn't save more, I didn't invest more, I upgraded my apartment, I started eating out more, I bought nicer clothes, my expenses magically rose to match my new income, and at the end of the month I was still broke. I was making more money than ever before. But somehow, nothing changed. That is the trap. No matter how much you earn, if you keep inflating your lifestyle, you will always feel broke. You will always be stuck on that hamster wheel. Now let's talk about the employment trap. This one is tough because it's so deeply ingrained in us. Society glorifies the steady job. A job is safe, they say. A job is responsible. A job is what adults do. And entrepreneurship is risky and flaky and something you do if you can't get a real job. My parents thought that, I thought that, everyone around me thought that. But here is the thing I realized after working a regular job for a few years. A job is not security. A job is trading your time for money. If you stop showing up, the money stops. If your company decides to lay people off tomorrow, you have no control over that. I have friends who worked for massive companies who thought they were set for life and then got laid off with no warning. That is not security. That is just comfortable dependency. And the 40-hour work week, it is designed to keep you too exhausted to build anything on the side. You work all day, then you come home tired and you just want to veg out, watch Netflix, scroll through your phone. You don't have the energy to start that side hustle or learn that new skill or build that business. You are too drained to even think about getting ahead. And when you do work overtime to try to get ahead, you are just selling your time at a fixed rate. You might make a little extra cash, but you are not building anything that will pay you while you sleep. You are not creating assets. You are just exchanging more of your limited time for slightly more money. And the employers know this. They want you tired and dependent. They want you to think that their benefits and their pension and their stability is the best you can hope for. Because if you realize you can build something for yourself, you might leave and they need you there, so they keep you busy, they keep you comfortable enough not to leave, but not comfortable enough to actually get ahead. That is the trap. And finally, man, the biggest one of all. Time poverty society keeps you so damn busy that you never have a moment to think about whether this is actually what you want. You wake up, you get ready, you commute, you work 8 or 9 hours, you commute home, you eat dinner, you watch some television, you go to bed, and you do it all over again the next day. And on the weekends, you are so exhausted that you just want to rest. You don't have the energy to work on your goals. You don't have the mental space to plan your future. You are just surviving. And the entertainment industry is there to make sure whatever free time you do have gets consumed. Netflix, social media, video games, sports, all of it is designed to keep your attention and keep you passive. It keeps you from building, it keeps you from creating, it keeps you exactly where you are. I realized this a few years ago and it hit me like a truck. I was working a job I didn't love spending money, I didn't have on things, I didn't need to impress people, I didn't even like, and I was running out of time. I was spending my best years being broke, tired, and stuck, and I knew I had to change, so I started, and I want to share with you exactly what I did to start breaking free. First thing, man, and I mean this with my whole heart, you have to reprogram your money mindset. This is step one, and everything else builds on top of this. You have to stop seeing money as evil or scarce or something that only lucky, corrupt people get. Money is a tool. That is it. It is a tool for freedom. It is a tool for options. It is a tool for security. It is a tool for helping the people you care about. Good people with money do more good. Bad people with money do more bad. The money doesn't change who you are, it just amplifies it. So stop feeling guilty about wanting to make more money. Stop feeling bad about wanting to be wealthy. It is not greedy to want financial freedom. It is responsible, it is smart, it is what you owe to yourself and your future family. Start feeding your mind with the right stuff, read books about money, listen to podcasts about investing and building businesses, follow people who have actually done what you want to do, surround yourself with people who talk about starting things and building things and creating value, not people who complain about how expensive everything is or how they never get ahead. Those people will keep you stuck. They will drag you down to their level. You have to be careful about who you let into your mental space. Second step, get a real financial education. Not the kind school gives you, but the kind you actually need. Start with the basics. Learn how compound interest actually works and how you can use it for you instead of against you. Learn the difference between assets that put money in your pocket and liabilities that take money out. Learn how taxes work and how you can legally minimize them. Learn how to start a business, even a small one. Learn how to invest in stocks or real estate or whatever fits your situation. This stuff is not optional anymore. In the information age between YouTube and podcasts and books and online courses, you have access to all the knowledge you could ever need. The only thing stopping you is whether you choose to actually learn it. Third step, break the consumer cycle. This is hard because it is so ingrained, but you have to do it. Before you buy anything, ask yourself a simple question. Is this going to make me money or cost me money? If it is going to cost you money and it does significantly improve your quality of life, buy it. Create a 24-hour rule for any purchase over a certain amount. If you still want it after 24 hours, think about it for another day. Most of the time you will realize you don't actually need it. You were just bored or stressed or influenced by an ad stop, trying to look rich and start actually being rich. The people who are truly wealthy don't flex with material stuff. They flex with freedom. They flex with not having to answer to a boss. They flex with being able to take a vacation whenever they want. That is real wealth. Not a car payment on a car you can't afford. Pay off your high interest debt first, especially credit cards. Every dollar you pay in interest is a dollar that could be working for you in the market. Treat debt like an emergency. Because it is fourth step, start building assets. This is where things start to get magical. You have to make your money work for you instead of you always working for money. Start investing even if it is small, even $50 a month, even $100 a month. The amount does matter right now. The habit matters, the principle matters. Get your money into the market and let compound interest start doing its thing. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow, and time is the one thing you can get back. Also invest in yourself, buy books, buy courses, find mentors, build skills that increase your earning potential. Your ability to earn is your biggest asset. If you can make more money, you can save more and invest more. So don't be cheap when it comes to improving yourself. Fifth and final step, start thinking like an owner, not an employee. Stop looking at your time as something you sell for a fixed price. Start looking for ways to build systems that generate income even when you are not working. Start an online business, create a digital product, start freelancing, start a YouTube channel, do something that gives you leverage. The wealthy understand that true freedom comes from ownership, from equity, from assets that pay you while you sleep. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. But you do need to start building something on the side that can eventually replace or supplement your income. Even an hour a day is enough to start. 5 hours a week, whatever you can manage. Just start. Look, man, I am not some rich guru. I am not a millionaire. I am just a regular 27-year-old guy who realized the system was working against me and decided to do something about it. I still work, I still have bills, but I am no longer trapped in the cycle. I understand how money works. Now I control my spending. I invest every month. I am building things that will pay off in the long run. And I want the same for you. You were not born to be broke. You were programmed to be broke. And programming can be changed. The conditioning can be broken. The system benefits when you stay broke dependent and consuming all their garbage. So build something for yourself. Start today. Even if it is small, even if it is messy, just start because your future self is counting on you. Peace.